Chapter 9, review number 5. It says, let's let f of x be 2 times the square root of x plus 1. So guys, this is whenever you've got a square root, you know that you're going to have to rationalize your numerator. All right, it says calculate our average rate of change from 3 to 4. So that's where we're going to have to find f of 3. So it's going to be 2 times the square root of 3 plus 1. Nothing I can do with that. And f of 4, which is 2 times the square root of 4. Whoops, not sure why I used parentheses there, but it's all good. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. And we're looking for a rock. So we are going to find f of 4 minus f of 3 all over 4 minus 3. Okay, so let's start putting that into our AROC. We've got f of 4, which is 5, minus 2 times the square root of 3 plus 1. Please make sure to remember your parentheses there. That's where you are possibly going to make a mistake if you're not careful. So add the opposite, and then I can see that I'm going to put together 5 and negative 1 to get 4. So my average rate of change is going to be 4 minus 2 root 3. And that's all they asked us for this time was the average rate of change. So that part is done. Let's go to part B. Part B says find the average rate of change from 9 to 9 plus h. So again, let's do our parts. We're going to do f of 9. And so we're going to have 2 times the square root of 9 plus 1. Square root of 9 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And we want to find f of 9 plus h. F of 9 plus h is going to be 2 times the square root of 9 plus h plus 1. And I cannot simplify that any further. So I've got my 2 values. Let's find our AROC. F of 9 plus h minus f of 9 all over 9 plus h minus 9. So we have 2 times the square root of 9 plus h plus 1 minus 7 all over, and I know that 9 minus 9 is 0, so I'm going to have all over h. Let's put our like terms together here. So 1 minus 7 is negative 6. So we have 2 times the square root of 9 plus h minus 6 all over h. Okay, now I'm sure they're going to ask us, let's take a look at part C. I'm sure they're going to ask us to evaluate the expression in part B as h goes to 0. Well, we won't be able to do that if we don't rationalize our numerator. So we are going to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 2 times the quantity 9 plus h plus 6. Guys, on your last quiz, some of you did not change that sign, and that's what messed you up. Okay, so I know that this has to go to the opposite of whatever I'm given. Okay, and now we're going to FOIL. So I'm going to take 2 times, let's see if I can find another color here, 2 times square root of 9 plus h times 2 root 9 plus h. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and the square root times the square root of the same thing is going to be the square root squared. So the square root and the square will cancel each other out, and I'm left with 9 plus h. Okay, and then my inners and outers, we know they're going to cancel. Maybe that's not obvious, so let me just write them out this time. 2 times 6 is 12, so we're going to get plus 12 root 9 plus h minus 12 root 9 plus h, going to my inners. And then minus -6 times +6 is -36. All over h times the quantity, 2 times the square root of 9 plus h plus 6. Okay, let's scooting this up a little bit. Let's simplify that. So we're going to end up distributing our 4, but also you see that your inners and outers will cancel. So we are at 36 plus 4h minus 36 all over h times 2 times the quantity, 9 plus h plus 6. All right, 36 minus 36 zeros out. I also have an h on the top and an h on the bottom. So giant 1 right there. Oops, that's supposed to be a 1, not an arrow. And it all simplifies down to 4 over 2 times the square root of 9 plus h plus 6. Now we could get fancy and factor a 2 out of the denominator and simplify that, but that is just not necessary. And it leaves room for little algebra 1 mistakes. So let's go to part C. Oops. Part C asks us to evaluate the expression that we just found. In other words, let's find IROC. Let's find our instantaneous rate of change. It's going to be the limit as h approaches 0 of 4 over 2 times the square root of 9 plus 0 plus 6. Once again, you need to show us this work on the test. Okay, so evaluating that, we end up with 4 over 2 times the square root of 9 is going to be 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Whoops. 6 plus 6 is 12. And 4 over 12 is going to simplify to 1/3. So the limit as h approaches 0 is 1/3. What does that tell us? That tells us that the slope of the tangent line, let's write this out. Make sure that it's solid in your head. The slope of the tangent line, unbelievable, guys. One more time. Slope of the tangent line at x equals 9 is 1/3. And that is the end of number 5. If you have questions, guys, please Zoom with us. Have a great day.